Use the quadratic formula to solve the equation 1/2 x squared plus 1 over 14x minus 1 equals 0. So we're going to use the quadratic formula, and then we got to make sure that it's in standard form, and currently it is in standard form. So let's go ahead and write this out. We have 1/2 x squared plus 1 over 14 x minus 1, and that's equal to 0. Okay, now we want to make it a little bit easier on us so that we don't have to use fractions in the quadratic formula. So we're going to use what we've learned, which is to then multiply the entire equation by the LCD. Well, what is the LCD? Well, the LCD has to be in the least common denominator between 2 and 14. So I'm just rewriting this equation, this step. Okay, and so the LCD, it has to be in between 2 and 14. Well, 2 is a factor of 14, so the LCD is going to be 14. So we're going to multiply each term by 14. So when we multiply everything by 14, 14 times 1 is 14 divided by 2 is going to give us 7x squared. Plus 14 times 1 is 14. 14 divided by 14 gives us 1, which is just x. 14 times negative 1 is negative 14. And then 14 times 0 is 0. Now we've kind of made it a little bit easier on ourselves to now use the quadratic formula. So A is going to equal 7, B is going to equal 1, and then C is going to equal negative 14. Now let's go ahead and use the quadratic formula, because we know it's x, which is equal to negative b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so now we're going to plug in b, which is positive 1, so that's a negative times a positive 1, plus or minus the square root of b, which is 1 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 7, times c, which is negative 14, all over 2 times a, which is 2 times 7. So we get negative 1 plus or minus the square root of, this is 1 squared. So now we need to multiply negative 4 times 7 times negative 14. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have negative 4 times 7 times negative 14, and that gives us a positive 392, all over 2 times 7, which is 14. Next, we got negative 1 plus or minus 1 plus 392 is 393. We're going to divide that by 14. Now, is 393 a perfect square? Well, let's go ahead and check. The second square root of 393. Okay, that is not a perfect square. Okay, if we found the common factor between 3 and the 393, well, we would see that 393 in prime form is 3 times 131, and we can't break down 131 any further, so this is going to be our result. So let's go ahead and put our answer in. We have negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 393 divided by 14. Check our answer, and there is our result.